Hopefully by the end of this video, I will have wings. What's up, guys? Thought I'd bring y'all a little video. I was messing around with my own TM the other day and come across the issue. I did it myself, but I figured it'd be a great little opportunity for me to show you how to fix it, because I've come across a few people already that had, you know, small little maintenance things to do that they was trying to do with their TM or their AW. So I figured I'd just make a video to show y'all how to do it. And this video, obviously by the title of it, it's going to be based upon double clicking. So when you click and your hammer won't drop, this one does, but you may click once and the hammer doesn't want to drop. This one's doing it every time. It's working correctly, but for the sake of the argument, you know, you click a couple times and then it'll drop. And full auto issues. If you was messing around with the back, you was switching at the grip, you was doing something, and then it goes into full auto, or even if you wasn't doing something, somehow it kicked into full auto, I'm gonna show y'all how to fix that. Very easy, but we're gonna be dealing with the leaf spring. But be careful with what we're about to do. Don't let that scare you, but just be careful with it, just so you don't have any further issues. But to get to what's going to cause that problem is the leaf spring. And we get to the leaf spring by making sure that, or we're just going to go ahead and take off your hammer spring kind of housing. Alright, and you can do this by simply just pushing down on the hammer spring. That would be this section right here is where it would go. If you don't see it, push down on that area, take that pin that's holding on, push it all the way out. First couple times it may be a little tough to do it first. Make sure you keep your parts organized. Got that, and we're gonna pull that right off. So go ahead and pull it down and right off. And maybe I'll show you another video later how to change a hammer spring. But you're gonna lift up your safety grip right here, and on the inside of this metal right here, this kind of thing with 3 little teeth on it, that's your leaf spring. So you can take it out. Be careful with what you're doing, don't force it out or anything. But we're gonna get that out of here. Sometimes it's better just kind of sit it upside down. You can rock it back and forth, and this is your leaf spring. So each 3 of these pieces, or these fingers, arms, however you want to say it, serve an important purpose. So you don't want to get these out of whack, because it can cause your gun to have all kinds of silly little issues. Now this one's going to be for your safety grip, the far left. You really ain't never got to mess with this one. It's usually doing pretty good, unless you're pushing on the safety and it's really not doing anything in the back. But I have a tape on mine anyways, where it just stays down at all times. But this one is going to control onto the full auto issues, and this one to the double clicking issues. And most of the time when you're having a double clicking issues is because this one right here on the far right is not touching your disconnector. It's usually the issue, but double check to make sure that you're not having issues with it's dirty, gunked up in here anywhere. So go ahead and clean that if necessary, but that's probably not the issue unless you've just been really getting your gun dirty. Then it's probably just these. These can get wore out. You can get aftermarket ones to put in, but if you're having this double clicking issue, as I was talking about, you pull the trigger and the hammer won't drop, it won't fire, and you keep pulling it and eventually it fires. Then this one right here, this far right one, what you're going to want to do, when I said be careful, don't get it all out of crazy and don't be wild with it. At about halfway up, a little over halfway up, pinch it and just barely push it forward. Just a little, just enough to rock it. to rock it forward. I know it's hard to see what I'm doing. I barely rock that one forward, because you're going to want to make sure that on the inside, I know my lighting ain't all that great, but on the inside, on the far right, actually, if I can get something to kind of point to it, on the far right, you're going to see a disconnector that it's going to touch, and it's right there. If y'all see that part, I know it's so hard to see, but see that moving part? That's where that leaf spring finger is going to actually sit. So it's going to disconnect every time when it has the pressure on it. And your double, or let's say full auto issues, if you're having that, it's a good chance it's because your middle spring is not on this shear right here in the back. If it's good chance it's on it or completely misplaced, is usually the issue, and it usually comes with when you're putting it back on. If you don't do it correctly, which it's kind of better in my opinion to hold it upside down, maybe even an angle, but you want to stick it back in and get this arm out the way. Make sure that that arm sits on that disconnector first. Excuse me, it's so hard to do it in front of the camera, y'all bear with me. Alright, your hammer spring and your disconnector, make sure they're both sitting in place. You do not want that center finger to get up under that shear. If you do, there's where it's going to be your full auto issues. So make sure it's sitting on the disconnector and sitting on that shear, not under it, not, you know, behind it, in front of it, and sitting on it. Then once you have that there, you're going to let it go back down, pull this down. This is your safety grip. Hold it forward just enough. Take this, and you can either do it this direction or do it all the way upside down. I prefer to do it this way just to let gravity kind of do your help when it comes to this little strut that goes into your hammer spring. Make sure that's pushed all the way down, push up. You will feel the tension hit back to your hammer, and go ahead and put your pin back in, and then go ahead and test it, see what it's doing. So if you're pulling back, it's firing. It's firing. Firing. Go ahead and hold it. Pull it down. See if it's holding. It's locking. Or I'm sorry, not locking. It's shooting, literally. Keep trying it. Keep doing that. Maybe consistently a few times. If you're having the full auto issue, obviously you're going to have to get into a safe place. Make sure you wear your outpro. Go and fire it and see if you're having the same issues. If you are, come back, check that spring, and if you need to, you may have to adjust that leaf spring, that center finger out of the three. So if you're having issues with the full auto and you didn't have it tucked under it or behind it, and it's now sitting in the right spot, you may end up having to push it forward or return it back just a little bit, but a good chance you're probably gonna have to push it forward just so it's staying under that shear. Making sure your far right finger or your far right finger of the leaf spring is staying on your disconnector. Keep that in mind. And then hammer finger or on your leaf spring, making sure that that is on that shear, and your safety, just that it's got enough tension. So that one on the far left is what's controlling this. So it pushes that, and it has the pressure to hold that forward. It's very, very simple fix. I know it can be aggravating. When I did it the other day, I stuck it back in there. Wasn't, I don't know, I guess I was being obnoxious and did it too fast. And I knew what the issue was. Excuse me. I knew what the issue was immediately, but I figured I'd show somebody else just in case they're having that issue. If you got any questions, any walkthroughs to it, just holler at me. I'll gladly help out where I can. But until then, y'all know what it is. Game on.